It's the Extremist movie debate, and tonight we're talking 2017's Logan Lucky.
I'm Joe.
I'm Ethan, and one of us is going to love it, one of us is going to hate it.
Let the coin decide their fate.
I hate it.
I love it. Hey guys, down at Ocean's 11 us, there's spoilers ahead.
All right, and this film currently
What
holds...
does that mean?
Like, don't grift us.
Oh, okay, all right.
This movie holds a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Ethan, since you hate it, this first question is for you.
What's the percentage?
93%.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's up there. Ethan, this
It's one of those situations where like everybody says,
I stopped listening already. Go ahead.
and so it looks like it's high up there.
This first question is for you, Ethan. This comes from Jim Judy of Screen It with an exclamation point at the end. Jim says, some may call it Ocean's Light or a less glossy, dressed-down version of said Vegas crime flicks. I call it absolutely fun, funny, and engaging offering that will likely be added to my interrupt channel surfing list once this ends up on TV. So for the overall scheme of things with heist flicks, how do you think this one holds up? You have 1 minute.
I don't know what interrupt channels whatever means.
It means when he's watching TV, if he sees it that it's on, he'll stop and watch it.
Oh, no, that's just called the Back to the Future effect.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's fair. This movie also is not fun or funny. I did not laugh once. This movie was just essentially Steven Soderbergh saying, hey guys, look, I can still make a movie. I'm just going to throw all of my friends into this. Look at me go. You think it's pretty cool that I got Channing Tatum and Adam Driver? Boom. Seth MacFarlane. You think that's pretty cool? Boom. Leanne Ribe, Sebastian Stan. We're just going to keep going. Here we've got Dwight Yoakam. Oh, end of the movie, third act, let's do Hilary Swank and that dude from Green Room. Awesome. Let's just keep on going because I have friends and I had a career once. That's all this movie is. It's essentially just a whole bunch of really boring versions of Ocean's 11 mashed into what feels like if all the characters from The Big Lebowski were just watered down and not actually exciting at all. So it's, you know, the dryness and nothing actually matters. There's no stakes to anything, but also the characters don't exist outside of just being a presence on the screen. You know, just Adam Driver has a hand missing. That's about it. Otherwise, they're just characters that are doing actions that ultimately mean nothing. If there's any quirkiness at all.
Thank you, Ethan. Joe, you have 30 seconds to respond.
So Ethan's complaining that Steven Soderbergh put all of his very, very talented, really well, established and respected actors into this movie. That's fine. You have a couple award winners in there. That's fine. Secondly, this is not Big Lebowski because at the end of it, something does matter because Channing Tatum's doing all of this for his daughter, and he's doing all of it because he loves his daughter so much. Like Big Lebowski doesn't adds up to nothing. This one actually adds up to Channing Tatum trying to make a difference in his daughter's life.
Thank you, Joe. Ethan, you have 15 seconds to respond.
I don't think any of that's in this movie. I think in the end they just pull off the heist. Spoilers, great. But there's a little bit of a fake out for 10 minutes as if we actually were invested enough to care. We're not. And then he goes to his daughter's thing, but the heist has nothing to do with his daughter at all. I mean, we know that it's so that he can get money.
Ethan, I have to cut you off there. Joe, you have a final 15 to respond.
So the whole reason he's doing the heist is so he can get enough money to pay for a lawyer to keep his daughter within state bounds. So he's actually doing it because he loves his daughter and wants to keep her near him and not for no reason. Like, she is the center of the reason he's doing the heist. So that's why he's doing it, because of her.
Thanks, Joe. And this next question is actually for you. This comes from Rex Reed from The Observer. Rex says, colorful camera work, raucous music, and endless ham acting is in abundant supply, but it's not enough. I thought Steven Soderbergh had retired, and now this? Even the title makes no sense. So, gripes about the title aside, how well do you think this was for an actual Steven Soderbergh movie? You have 1 minute.
Well, here's the thing about Soderbergh. I think people confuse the fact that he made the Ocean's trilogy, and they're just like, oh, that's a Steven Soderbergh movie. But no, it's not. That's Steven Soderbergh working within the studio confines. And that's him making essentially a mass market movie. So this movie, Logan Lucky, is much closer to the Steven Soderbergh style than any of his blockbuster movies are. So essentially, he's taking the fun of an Ocean's movie and the fun of a heist movie, and he's sticking it into his own voice and his own tone, and using that to actually make another Steven Soderbergh movie. If you go back and if you look at Haywire is an action movie, but the first half of it's very dry. He does really great action scenes, so he's putting these these tropes into his movies from these genre movies, but he's making them very much his own. So you see that with Haywire, you see that with Contagion, you see it with Side Effects, and now we see it with Logan Lucky. And I think it's really cool because it's essentially putting a new spin on something, and it's stylizing something we've seen over and over again. So it's a new, fresh
Okay,
take.
thanks, Joe. Ethan, you have 30 seconds to respond.
You essentially just said that the Ocean's 11 movies were a lot of fun, but this one was not. And which is true. I mean, if you say that the Steven Soderbergh style outside of the mainstream whatever, that is basically synonymous with boring is what you're saying, and I agree with that. I think that this movie is very dull. You know, it's like Ocean's 11 met Solaris. It's like Ocean's 11 met Haywire, met Contagion. Steven Soderbergh sucks. This movie's really boring. I wish that he had some executive producers pushing him the right direction for once.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. Joe, you have 15 seconds to respond.
So Ethan putting words into my mouth aside, Steven Soderbergh has a style, okay, and that style might not be for everybody. He's an American auteur, and if Ethan doesn't like stylized movies, Ethan's a Marvel guy, okay, that's the thing. If it doesn't fit into the Marvel box, Ethan don't like it. And
Okay,
Soderbergh
thanks,
doesn't fit there.
Joe. Ethan, you have a final 15 to respond.
I mean, I got no shame in that. I don't understand how that's a criticism of anything. Don't attack my personal movie preferences. If I'm essentially agreeing with what you're saying, that Steven Soderbergh not
that's
having
not
a
what I
studio
said.
behind him
That's
is
not what I
boring.
said.
Thus,
Stop it,
Logan
Joe.
Lucky is boring. It's the transitive
Okay,
property.
and we're actually gonna
don't
to
think
cut
you
you
know
off
what
there.
that means.
Quiet, Joe. You guys have 4 minutes to discuss and go.
No, this movie is actually like, so you have the Soderbergh style, but then you also have, like, I think this is one of his best movies actually because it's layered, and it's showing us the American dream. So it has the very human story of Channing Tatum trying to pull off this heist to pay for a lawyer so he can stay close to his daughter, because his daughter really is the only person he cares about and the only thing he cares about aside from his brother. So his brother and his daughter and a little bit of his sister, I suppose. But then, so you have this like very family human story, but on top of that, this is like speaks to a larger truth of the American dream and how corporate America is essentially just, and like the wealth gap is essentially just driving like the poor and the poverty like down into the ground, and it's just getting bigger. The wage gap is getting bigger and bigger, and this movie is essentially showcasing it. It doesn't matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter how skilled you are, like you're gonna get busted just because you might be a liability, something like that. So it just shows like how smart these guys are to pull off this heist, which is brilliant. Like the heist itself is brilliant.
Heist is not brilliant,
The
but
heist
I want
itself
to talk
is
about the fact that you
brilliant.
just spent like 8 hours describing Hell or High Water, which is a much better movie, which got nominated for Best Picture. So let's go watch Hell or High Water,
So Hell or
where
High
they
Water-
don't pull punches,
so Hell or
and instead
High Water-
it's fucking brutal and real, and this movie is just a bunch of, it's basically watching a Coen Brothers movie, except that Soderbergh made it.
Yeah,
and
so,
that
so,
is
so Logan,
frustrating.
Lucky is a satire. Hell or High Water
Oh,
is not
it's a satire because it's goofy?
Hell or High Water is not a satire.
What part of this
And that's
is
kind of the issue.
over-exaggerated? What part of this movie
Hell or High
seems...
Water is actually more about the economic crisis and much more about like the economic
Explain to me what
collapse.
part of this movie is actually like
Whereas-
taking it too far that would define it to be a satire.
What are you talking, like the entire premise of this movie, like them like pulling off a heist, like just the character
The heist
of
is
Joe
so
Bang.
easy.
The
They
character
use
of
gummy
Joe
bears
Bang.
and bleach pens to make a bomb.
Oh, I love
it's
that.
it's just complete coincidence that he happened to be down there and happened to see that tunnel. Why is that tunnel still open? Why has that tunnel been open for seemingly months? Why has that little hole been open to the vault for months? He got laid off a couple weeks ago.
That's not to the vault. It's just the tubes through just thick concrete.
But it's one section
Through
of those
concrete.
tubes. Okay, but one section of those tubes, they could have easily just put up bricks. I feel like that would have been
It's a sinkhole.
2-hour job.
sinkhole.
They've
They're working on
taken
it.
care of the sinkholes. They said they were done. They were closing up. Clearly they're
but at
not,
the same
because
time- no, at the
there's
same time,
access
it's-
to all of their money drops is
That's-
still
no,
wide open.
They are keeping that's just going to be
It's-
open.
it's a complete
fault.
coincidence
It's a
that any
fault.
of that
It-
actually
essentially,
works out in their favor.
What that does is it showcases how dumb corporate
Let's
America
talk about
actually is.
other things that
Capitalistic
work out in their
America,
favor.
That's how stupid it actually is they're
In
just
what
allowing that
world-
because they don't believe if you're poor. This is the thing. They like. The elite believes if you are poor, you deserve to be poor because you're stupid or you're like not. Fuck, I don't.
All right, guys.
Like,
in this movie, there's a prison. They have to break out of this prison. They break out of this prison by removing a paper towel holder, which leads to a secret passage fully formed that happens to go to the other
not-
machine shop where they're working. So
not-
they go from the infirmary to the machine shop through a secret tunnel that
Hey,
we
Ethan,
never have
Ethan,
explained how the fuck that's there.
Ethan, where did you get your architecture degree?
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
Ethan is
how
not
about-
minority.
how about we
that
have-
shows that Ethan's there. Shit like this happens all the time.
I
There are
took out
small-
a retaining
there
wall
are
when I moved
small-
into this house.
Oh,
I
so you-
understand that you need to at
okay.
least have a retaining wall, preferably between an infirmary and a machine shop.
So
But
you-
also,
I took
where
it-
the fuck did they get
when
there?
When I came in here, I knocked a wall
At what point
out,
in this
so
movie?
I know how-
All right.
I know how other stuff.
At what
I
point in this
understand
movie
NASCAR too.
do they pull out blueprints, lay them down on a table, spill some jelly donut on them, and say this is where the fake wall is, and
They don't
somebody
have
built
to. That
a
is some-
secret
that is
passage
something a
from all
Marvel
the people
movie
that
would
were
do.
running away
That's
from Woody
something a Marvel
Harrelson when the
movie
monkey
would do.
uprising
This is
happened.
the thing. You don't have to have everything spelled out for you when you can understand exactly what's happening.
All right. What do you guys really feel?
You don't have to have it spelled out for you, but they don't need to make huge fucking leaps in order to make
It's not
things
really
connect.
that big of a leap.
However, this movie is really good.
This movie is good. I thought it was a little too slow in Soderbergh fashion.
Yep.
For the first like 40 minutes. I actually looked at my watch and I was like, fuck, there's an hour and 20 minutes left. But like the second half I thought picked up, really enjoyed it. And then also, like, once the heist is done, I was just like, there's still a half an hour. But then you bring Hillary Swank in, and also very good. But one of my favorite games to play is to count how many people walk out of the movie when you go to a Soderbergh movie. I think 2 in my showing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which the reigning the record holder is The Informant with 4. And I thought The Informant was a wonderful movie.
I felt that it was. I didn't laugh really at all. I think I laughed once. I don't even remember what the joke was. But to that, I attribute like a sort of Big Lebowski effect, where I'm actually so wrapped up in, wait, how is this heist working? How are they going to pull this off? I want to know the details of everything. That I'm just kind of missing all the subtle humor of it. So rewatching it, I'll probably think it's very, very funny. I didn't the first time. But that aside, it's incredibly. I thought it was extremely well paced. They do show don't tell, just mwah. Really
Except for that
tight movie.
Except for that little secret passageway.
This movie has it's a level of like just we're gonna pretend like we're lazy, but the level of discipline in it is astonishing, and that is attributed to Soderbergh, and it's nice to see him again.
I'm so happy he's back. I laughed probably more than Ethan did because I laughed a handful of
Probably.
times.
I didn't laugh at all, so
Yeah, I laughed I laughed a bit, but I've kind of found that that's my role in a Soderbergh movie, and I see it in the movie theaters. I tend to be the only person laughing at times.
I think I'll find it really funny when I watch it.
But like top to bottom, all the actors are really great. When the girl sang John Denver, that really got me. I've been thinking about this movie for I saw it about 24 hours ago, but I've been thinking about it since I saw it. And yeah, no, I think it's got that heart. I think Soderbergh.
It's another thing he does is he makes an unassuming movie that actually has a huge impact.
That's the thing. Like, I think Soderbergh kind of gets the Ridley Scott treatment sometimes, where it's like, oh, his movies are too sterile and doesn't have a heart. But like, I think he does. He's almost too good at it though. Like, he doesn't allow. He's like a Kubrick. He doesn't allow for little mistakes that help like. Add to the movie, I guess, like those little like mistakes that kind of add a spice, like a human touch to it. So they do feel sterile, but they're really well done, and he knows what he's doing.
All right. Well, what would you guys rate the movie?
I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Teeny bit of thunder. It resonates. I mean, I'll still probably forget about it in 2 weeks, but I'll probably end up buying it when it comes to video. So there's that.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10, but a lot of thunder. I could see my rating going up maybe a little bit in the next few months. I would not be surprised to see this on my top 10 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can like and subscribe to the video. Comment below if you got a movie you'd like us to do in the future. You can go ahead and request it below, and also a question you'd like us to debate about that movie. We're also on the Facebooks, now the Instagrams, the Twitters, at Extremist Movie.
At Extremist Movie Debate.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, PantsPending.
Oh yeah, thanks to PantsPending.
Thanks, PantsPending.
Check out all their fine products.
We teamed up with them, PantsPending.com. Also, we have a website thanks to them now, Extremist Movie Debate at PantsPending.com.
Also, check out artificialwood.pantspending.com.
Artificialwood.pantspending.com. Thank you and good night.